So gentlemen, I want to get both of you, you're here because the reason why you're here today is to share your experiences, the good and the bad, on both sides of the transaction. So why don't we start with a little bit about what should be avoided? What could you have avoided, and in terms of your thinking, and how does that apply to the book, Exit Right? What are some of the key lessons?
That's a great question. For my first transaction, I was 30 years old when I sold my first company. And I was so young and naive. And I trusted my advisors. I outsourced a lot of decision-making to my advisors without taking ownership or control. And that led to some contentious negotiation that could have been avoided business owner to business owner. And so one of the key lessons, one of the key mistakes I made, so one of the key takeaways is you can't outsource judgment. You need the very best advisors you possibly can, but ultimately as the business owner, you have to be responsible for making the final decisions.
Mert, what's your thoughts?
For me, I had this incorrect belief that I now realize, especially after having spoken with a ton of serial entrepreneurs. I am a very competitive person, just like most operators. Most founders want to win. This is by nature. This is why you're there. This is why you overtook the gauntlet to begin with. Now, how I falsely interpreted that was I should never talk to my competitors. I should never talk to bigger companies in this space. Like I'm on my own. We're here to win. And there's nothing for us to talk about. I had this adversarial relationship, which inadvertently limited our options when it came to the exit. Because look, the fundamental currency that the acquirer is looking for is trust. They want to know that they can trust you, not just today and tomorrow, that what you're saying about the claims you're making about the company are truthful, your vision is right, but ultimately that you yourself are going to be there for the long term. You're going to be there to realize that vision. And knowing what I know now, I would have started that what we call the ecosystem of buyers years in advance. Now, I'm not saying go share your financials with the larger companies on an annual basis, but sit down with the CEOs, be a thought partner, give first. Add value to what they're doing and share an interesting development that has happened in your market that you think is relevant to what they're working on. Grab an annual dinner if there's a trade show or a conference. These relationships doesn't necessarily mean that a partnership is going to happen tomorrow. But when the timing is right and you need to make that phone call, there's going to be someone on the other end of the line who knows that you're the real deal. And knowing what I know now, I would have started that years in advance, way before we ever thought about selling the company. And this is ironic because this comes very naturally, for instance, when it comes to fundraising. Founders are often coached that, of course, you should develop a relationship with investors, with angels, with VCs. You should set goals and show them that you're actually hitting those goals over a period of time. But for some reason, when it comes to partners who are eventually going to be acquiring your company, we're tight-lipped, we're quiet. We keep things to ourselves. We keep things confidential. Be a known entity. And in the long term, that's going to serve you in terms of finding the right partner.
Yeah, I just want to add on what Mert just said, which we talked to the heads of corp dev at many of the largest tech companies in the Valley, across the country. And uniformly, every single one of them said, it's all about trust. It's all about the personal relationships. When there's a known quantity, when we know the people, it's so much easier to start a transaction than we're doing it from scratch. And part of it, it's a two-way street. So information gathering, it's not only the company getting information about what you're doing, it's also equally as important for you as the CEO to gather information on what are the strategic holes, what are the needs of the larger potential strategic partners, because that's really important for you to understand where the magic happens, is understanding where to plug their holes, where are the strategic opportunities. So think of due diligence as bi-directional.